Hey, chess kids, this is Coach Todd again, bringing you another great video on chesskid.com. And what we're going to talk about today is both an attacking and defending idea in chess. When you start out as a chess kid, you learn right away that the F pawn, you can see black has their pawn on F7 here. The F pawn can become very, very weak in the beginning of the game. And I'm sure many of you have been checkmated in 4 moves because of the weakness of that F pawn. Well, what I want to talk to you about today is the importance of the F pawn after you castle. So most of you know that you're supposed to get your king safe by castling as soon as possible. And usually you castle kingside because it only takes 3 moves to castle kingside. And the F pawn actually will become very, very important even once you castle. So you can see in this position that white has the open F file because his F pawn is missing. And black has moved their queen over here to E8, hoping to get the F pawn out of the way so that he can try to chase this queen who's in a very, very dangerous spot out of the position. So what I want everybody to think about now is I want you to go ahead and pause your video here, and I want you to try to figure out how you're going to checkmate the black king. All right, chess kids, welcome back. And while you were looking at this position, hopefully you noticed that the queen and the bishop on D3 are possibly coordinated at H7. This is a very common square to get checkmated at. So maybe you thought to yourself, well, let's take this knight. And then if he wants to keep the pieces even, he has to take me back. And then I'll go E5. And I'm threatening to take his knight. And now my queen and my bishop are working together on H7 to checkmate. So if he tries to save his knight, then I'll get him in checkmate. Game over. However, black has a miracle defense. And white in this game is Bobby Fischer, one of the most famous chess players of all time. He was the only American to be world champion. And black is a grandmaster named Benko, who's also a very famous grandmaster who lives here in the United States. So in this position, black can play F5, and he can move his F pawn, and he can open up a defensive resource here, attacking your queen. And the pawn move also shuts down the bishop. So if you try to go checkmate on H7 in this position, you'd be out of luck because your bishop no longer works together with your queen. So let's go back. Bobby Fischer did take the knight, and then Benko did take back, but Fischer didn't play pawn to E5 in this position. Can you figure out how to take the F pawn out of the equation? Go ahead and pause your video here and see if you can figure out the move that Bobby Fischer played. All right, hopefully you spent a good amount of time thinking about this. This is not a move that you see every single day. In this position, Fischer played rook to F6, just giving away his rook for nothing. It doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. But what he's doing is he's taking the F pawn out of the game. He's making it so his opponent does not have any more of those defensive resources that we saw in the other example. So if the bishop takes the rook, now we can play pawn E5, and no matter what, this bishop and this queen are going to work together on H7. The king doesn't have anywhere to try to run and hide because queen H7 is checkmate. So whenever you're attacking your opponent, think about if they can possibly use their F pawn to open up some resource to save their king, because a lot of times you're going to have to block that F pawn even after they castle in order to checkmate. All right, chess kids, we'll talk about this in a future video as well. And until then, I hope that you study lots of chess, and we'll see you again soon.